Hello, this is Emily White with the Human Rights Education Network News. I'm talking with Jabu Tugwana. She's the Human Rights Education Officer in Amnesty International South Africa, and she's just been involved in the letter writing marathon of March 2013 in South Africa, and she's collected over 15,000 actions for the letter writing marathon. So Jabu, why don't you tell us all about it?
Thank you, Emily. We did a letter writing marathon in South Africa during the month of March, because in South Africa that is Human Rights Month, and we engaged over 20,000 learners in 5 provinces in South Africa, and 28 schools were involved. For us, this was a wonderful opportunity for Amnesty to showcase how we can use human rights education to strengthen campaigning, and we were able to do that through the involvement of volunteers that are also known as multipliers, who were assigned to the schools that were part of the marathon. We had over 60 multipliers working with the 28 schools. 8 of the schools that were involved were primary schools and the rest were high schools. We worked on 2 cases. One was on women's rights and the other one was on the Arms Trade Treaty. What is really interesting about the letter writing was that the Arms Trade Treaty was the most, it got the most actions, which was an unexpected outcome, especially that most of the letters were written by children who were in rural areas. And the other really wonderful thing about the letter writing was that we were able to engage with schools that we've never worked with before. And in that way, the section's work with schools was able to grow. One really important lesson from this experience is the way in which we can use letter writing to engage with schools that are in places where Amnesty does not have presence or visibility. And in this way, Amnesty and the human rights movement in itself can grow. And one of the lessons that we learned through participation methodology was that we can talk about the human rights violations that are happening in neighboring countries, educate young people about them, and empower other young people in those countries on those issues. And it can also work in reverse. We can go into those same countries with really soft human rights issues and start to build respect for human rights within those environments.
And you were telling me also that you had an evaluation at the end with all those people who took part in them. Can you tell us how you worked that out?
Throughout the letter writing marathon, we used participatory methodologies. We had 2 workshops. One workshop was the actual training on letter writing, where we helped the multipliers understand what letter writing is, how to write letters, and how to do presentations in school with learners, and on the human rights issues that are involved. And then at the end of the letter writing, we had a participatory evaluation where we had tape. We used tape and we pasted it on the floor. We drew 3 lines. One line was a neutral line, the other line was a positive line, and the third line was a negative line. And we posed questions in the form of statements. The statements were posed when everyone was standing on the neutral line. And if people agreed with the statement, for example, the letter writing marathon was useful or was successful, step forward onto the positive line. Or if the letter writing marathon was not useful or you disagree with the statement, you step back. And this was really a wonderful way of pulling responses from the multipliers who were directly engaged with the letter writing, because it's fun, it's engaging, and it's anonymous. The way that we did it was that the facilitators did not facilitate that particular session, and it was also great because over and above getting a picture of the feet in relation to where they were standing, you were also able to ask clarifying questions. So we're able to collect a fair amount of data out of it.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like another methodology to add to the mix. Great that you also do check how things go at the end and work out an evaluation with all those involved. I'm looking forward to hearing more from your human rights education activities in South Africa, and thank you very much for telling us about your human rights education work in the letter writing marathon. Thanks very much, Jabu.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.